This week's episode, though, of Behind the Bricks truly turns back the clock to the way the Speedway used to do business. Zach Horrell is the social media specialist at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Thanks for being with us.
Hey, thanks for having us, and thanks for letting us tell this story this week. It's a really cool one.
I'm glad that you did.
Yeah.
I simply said this week is about money and the past.
Yeah, exactly.
In a couple of ways. Let's look at a little bit first, because I told the folks that this would be a secret that you didn't know the answer to. Doug Bowles, track president, shows us a spot that hasn't been used in a while. Listen to the end of what he says, and he reveals a secret I never knew.
So I'm in one of the cash rooms that are actually underneath the grandstands. We're a mile long by a half a mile wide, 300,000 plus people. You needed places to put the cash back in the day. So if you bought from a ticket taker, or you bought at a concession stand, or maybe a merch store, you would have brought that cash here so that it could have been counted by the finance folks. On the other side of these windows is where everybody would be counting it. There would be vaults back here. That cash would have gotten to this room through people dressed like fans, carrying it in coolers. You'd have had no idea that they were bringing it right here to get counted at the end of race day.
During the whole run of Behind the Bricks, that may be the coolest bit of information. Did you know that?
No, I had no idea. I had no idea, one, that this sort of infrastructure is still there. I mean, obviously the wood's kind of updated, but they've kept the bones of it essentially. But just to hear that story and know that, you could walk around the track and you could be walking next to a person with hundreds of thousands of dollars in their car and you would have no idea.
Probably they picked the goofiest hat.
Oh yeah.
And the reddish shoulders under a tank top, and
it's a pretty smart idea though. I mean,
it's brilliant.
Oh yeah. It definitely accomplishes the goal, and it's just fascinating. I mean, I know it's not like an official one of sorts, but it's almost like a lot of banks that we had that were kind of hidden under the grandstands that no one knew they existed back in the day for certain, and really people don't know that they exist now, and now they're just kind of storage areas. But it's a cool story to be able to tell.
Well, and that's kind of part two of this, money and the past thing. The reference to Geraldo Rivera is an easy one. If you're not immediately familiar, a TV reporter makes a big deal out of Al Capone's vaults, and they crack it open at the end of a big long special, and it's empty. Doug Bowles' safecracker did not come up completely empty.
Not completely. Got a couple pennies here and there. Got some receipts. But yeah, that was one of those things that they've been around for a while, and no one knew the codes to them. And so as we started to build up this idea, Doug said, "Well, we should break open the safes." And everyone was like, "So like Geraldo Rivera, right?"
Yeah.
And so it was just kind of we didn't really expect to get a lot out of it, but we thought it would be a fun, silly thing to do and really tie it into the full episode. And as you're seeing now, like all the vaults that we still have, that have really just become a part of our day-to-day office life.
Got blue envelopes, for instance.
Yeah.
And there's the cash transactions.
Yeah.
And that looks like relatively recent vintage. But the track's cashless now.
Completely cashless now. And from now, the big change this year is when you get to the parking lots, those are also cashless now. That hasn't been the case before. But from the moment you get onto property at the parking lots, we are cashless until you get into the facility. And we have cash to card machines, so they're essentially like a reverse ATM. You put cash in, you get a temporary debit card that you can put your cash on. But it works like you could go to Kroger and use it. Like it's not just an exclusive Speedway thing. So if you put too much money on it and you leave the track with money still on it, you can use it at a different location.
It's probably worth underscoring that, because I never thought about the fact where you're talking about the IMS lots, where you've always been able to hand a 20 and whether get change or not.
Exactly.
You cannot do that this year.
No, we are completely cashless.
There are going to be some lines and some spirited conversations about
there's
that,
going to
so
be
be aware.
We have a big job to do in the next few weeks to really educate people and make sure that they understand that, because obviously that is really the first touch point you have when you come to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So we need to make sure that everyone understands that and has a great customer experience from the beginning.
I can't help but mention, because the President Bowles still has that whole RoboCop Terminator arm in this. You guys taped this a while ago.
Yeah.
He's on the mend, right?
Yeah, he's on the mend. He's back to normal. He's lost the robo arm. He's all healed up and he's all ready to go. He will be shaking 1 million hands this month.
And the suits fit a lot better that way too. Yeah. Zach, thank you.
Hey, thank you. It's always a pleasure.
Tara, was it a secret you knew the answer to? Had you ever heard that?
No, I have never, but that is amazing.
Isn't that cool?
Can you just imagine walking around with a cooler? There's hundreds of thousands of dollars in there.
Right?
Everybody thinks it's beer.
Well, and certain folks would have preferred the beer anyway. So.
Well, there you go. Absolutely.